Hi there, beautiful soul. Welcome back to my channel. So happy to see you today. Every week I like to spend 20 minutes with my community of clients and followers just to help you feel more relaxed and tune back into yourself and let go of some of the stresses. And I was just sitting here having a nice cup of tea when I noticed I spilled a big splotch right on my jumper, so I'm covering it up with my hair. Today, I want to share with you 7 powerful steps that can boost your happiness level. So ultimately, we all want many things, right? But one of those things is definitely happiness. And the science of positive psychology has discovered that humans, or all people, are born with what we call a happiness set point. So if your set point is low, let's say a 3 out of 10, 10 being like super happy, you can't be happier, and let's say you wake up every morning a 3, there is still hope for you, because once you realize that we have a set point, which is like a thermostat, you can do things to change your set point, and gradually over time your nervous system gets used to you tweaking it a little bit, and then over the next few weeks and months and years your set point will get much higher, so that eventually you can be a happy person all the time, no matter what happens to you. Very few people are born with like a happiness set point that's always set on 8. Oops, the light just came on. 8, 9, and 10, right? So, you might be lucky enough to know some of those people who are just so resilient. It doesn't matter what happens to them, they still keep smiling during a crisis. And they also know how good it feels to be on holidays, and they just enjoy life all the time. But the majority of people are not like that. You know that, because, you know, you get up and it's raining or it's windy and it affects you. You feel your positivity drop in your boots and so on. So today I want to give you a chance to really tune in to your own body, and maybe even you need a pen and a piece of paper and write down where you think your happiness set point is, so that you have a starting point that you can build on. I find this very helpful for me to realize, wow, I have a set point. And of course, then it made a lot of sense, because our body has a set point for how warm we stay, like the blood. Our body likes to be at a temperature of like roughly 37 degrees. And if it goes over that, we have a temperature, and if we get cold, here's the power, it's gone off again, we begin to shiver, right? So this applies, and we have one for money too. I work with my clients to increase their money set point, because, for instance, if you have a set point for money that doesn't go above $10, doesn't matter how hard you work or what you do, your bank account doesn't fill up past $10, right? It sounds silly, but it's actually true. And I even invite you today to look at your bank balance and work out what you've got left at the end of each week. When you pay all the bills, are you left with like -0, or are you left with a certain amount, like it can be 20,000, or it can be more, right? Everyone is different. But however, your money set point is also something that you need to become aware of, so you can start to work with it and improve your money situation. So when clients come to me, they most of the time, of course, want to improve their health, but they also want to improve their wealth, like health, wealth, and happiness. Of course, because you can have health and wealth and be chronically unhappy, right? So there are practices and things that you can do to improve your happiness as well. So let me just focus on happiness today. So happiness is not something that you should be putting off. Like, we literally taught at school and by society, oh, look, wait till I have that car. I want that car, or I want the beautiful soulmate, or I want that child, or I want the perfect job or the perfect house, and then I will be happy. It's actually not true. What researchers realized is that you can have all those things, and, you know, it might elevate you for a day or two, maybe a couple of weeks, and then you go back to your set point. Thankfully, the opposite is also true. So what could happen is that you have a car accident, you become paralyzed, and you're happy, but a year later, and this is true, like science studies have proven it, a year later a paraplegic will say, I'm just as happy as I was before the accident, or sometimes happier still. And by the way, that was also my experience, because I had a severe accident in 2006 where I got hit by a truck and I was left paralyzed at that point. I didn't know if I would be able to walk again. I was flown away to Melbourne, away from my family. It was as traumatic as you could imagine, like maximum trauma, really, 10 out of 10 pain. However, once my pain improved a little bit, and as time wore on, I was back to my normal happy self, and I felt that it was an inside job. So happiness is an inside job, which takes me to number 1. So I have 7 steps, and I will put the article here. If you don't get my email, please sign up for my email or go to my website. All my old emails are there, and you'll find some of those very, very helpful. So step number 1, the mistake that people make is that they believe they are victims, like they go into victim mentality. A victim mentality means you're always waiting for somebody to save you, for somebody to show up to rescue you. And don't get me wrong, 99% of society does that, because again, it's an old computer program that was put into humans. It's called the savior program, right? So it requires a savior, that's somebody outside of you. You require a bully as well. The bully can be your bank account or the bank or the government or whoever. And then that puts you in the victim mode. So the first thing is to realize, I resign from being a victim, and you just need to do this multiple times during the day. And I am going to be victorious, like I'm going to get through this. If it's to be, it's up to me. That's what I used to tell myself. I still say that to myself many times, right? Don't listen to the doctor's diagnosis. If the doctor says you're going to die in 3 weeks or whatever, or I didn't listen to the doctor when I was told I would never be able to walk again, because nobody knows your own body or situation better than you. When it comes to happiness, the same thing applies. It's up to you to be in charge of your happiness. It's funny how the lights flicker on and off, because literally when we don't train ourselves, our happiness switches like that all day long. So how can we get out of victim mode? Well, how do you know that you are in victim mode, that you're being a victim? A victim will always say, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And you need to change that question to, why is this happening for me? What's the universe want? What does the universe or life itself or God or want for me? How does this experience enrich my life? Now, of course, that's not always going to happen straight away when you are in a deep crisis, for instance, like I was. But the longer-term question is definitely, why is this happening for me? And start looking in the ground for the little golden nuggets that are enriching your life. Like, how has this painful situation made me a better person, enriched me? How am I being the person today? If it wasn't for that experience, I wouldn't be sitting here today. So that's how a non-victim or somebody who is successful and happy looks at life. And it strengthens your nervous system. After a while, it trains you to look for the silver lining in everything. And I don't mean sweeping negativity under the carpet. I mean being fully aware of your pain and everything that's happened, and then still seeing the positive lessons or learnings that are there. These are called soul lessons, because we all came into the world with a soul that is hungry for growing and learning, and that's here to drive you and set you up for certain circumstances. So you can also see it like this. Imagine this is your soul or your spirit, maybe that would be even better. Every day your spirit is present. It's always still. It doesn't get affected by your life circumstances. It's always happy, fulfilled. How do I say it? It doesn't need anything. Nobody can take from it. Nobody can harm it. And then this is your personality. Like, this is me in this lifetime, or you in your lifetime. So this is your personality, which is a combination of your ego, with the ego, which is a good thing, by the way. I love people's ego. it's here to look after you and to give you your personality and to set you up for the lessons. This is also your soul and many other programs that you are running on from your parents and from previous lifetimes. And so this is like, okay, you hear you're feeling good, but now you're hearing something bad, and then you dip down and you dip up, and eventually happy people, they don't dip up and down like this anymore all day long, like that, my light flickering off and on. Happy people can connect with their spirit self many times. They feel plugged into something that's greater than them, and it has a calming, deep sense of stability and peacefulness, which is better for your nervous system, and it makes you feel healthier and you live longer. Because science has also proven that happy people, they generally have 10 extra years compared to normal people. Let's just call us normal people, right? Normies. So extremely happy people, they often have an extra 10 years of good health, and they often accumulate an extra million in their lifetime compared to other people. So these are all incentives. If you think like, oh, well, I can't be bothered. What you're talking about, life is already hard enough for me. I'm enticing you to find your happiness set point. And even if it's a 2 or a 1, you can manually, gradually, with all these practices, get yourself up to a 6 or a 7. Clients who work with me find that their lows, their low points, become higher, and their high points also become higher. In other words, people never drop down to the depths of despair or the low points that they used to be. And this is reflected in their relationships and money. So step number 1, stop being a victim. Take ownership of your happiness, right? Don't rely on somebody else to come along and save you, whether it's the government or the weather or a holiday, things like that. And then you need to learn to think properly. So you know that we all have brain activity that can be measured by instruments, but everyone who's alive, of course, has brain activity. But brain activity doesn't equal good, wholesome, successful, happy thinking, right? And we're not taught that at school either. So mindset medicine, that's what I call it, is something that you need to look into. And these days you can just Google it, watch powerful influencers that are positive and successful. Just find somebody that inspires you and read books that are wholesome as well and uplifting and that you benefit from, and train your mind to think different to what your parents did. Because our parents came from a time of survival, and so their ancestors, all your ancestors, they had to work so hard to survive. But in today's world, we have the privilege that we can create a life where we can thrive and grow, and we have so many opportunities, and we can really be abundant in every which way that you could dream of, right? So but it takes a different mindset. You have to get out of that survival mindset and into a mindset of thriving and abundance. Also, I teach that to my students during my programs. And of course, when I work with my clients one-on-one, we can shift a lot of this stuff in one session. So then step number 3 is to live from an open heart. Now, of course, that's easier said than done, right? And I work with many people, clients, in fact, everyone that comes to me is a heart-centered person. Their heart is already open, but often they have just so much deep hurt and sadness in there. It's like they have a wound that's still bleeding, and it's stopping them from being happy and fulfilled. And often it interrupts they're not on track with their purpose, because they have some trauma going on inside their body that's active and that needs to be discovered, uncovered, pulled out, dissolved, all of that. And that's what I do during my sessions, because I don't like to see people suffer. And so I've trained myself over many years now, decades in fact, to find out the big ones. Where are the big ones? Where's the big trauma? Even if the client can't remember what's happening or what happened in their past, I can usually tell what happened, and then I can neutralize it and heal it. And then straight away the client feels an uplift it's like something is switched, you know, something is turned on maybe, and the happiness, then it's easy for them to reset their happiness switch thermostat, right? We do that together in a very, very safe way. So if you've got issues in your tissues, it's really genuinely hard for your beautiful heart to shine and to be open, because it's like you had to build some stone walls around it, or you had to, you know, every morning you have to put on your armor or something, and it just makes it heavy for you. So if that's you, please come and see me for a session. I promise you we can work through that and dissolve it in one time, right? All right, so I was talking about your body as well. So just think of your body as your earthly vessel, all right? So we're all spirits having a human experience, but we're experiencing life through our human vessel. So here's the interesting part. You know, we all worry so much, and I'm guilty of that myself, by the way. But when your body, when your health goes, you only have one worry, and that's it. How can I be healthy again, right? You've probably all been at that point, or maybe you know somebody who is going through that. So if your body is broken, or you have issues in your tissues, or you're injured or sick, I have to admit it's harder to be happy, but not impossible, right? And there are ways that you can, of course you need help. That's you need to look after your body. That's really what I'm here to tell you. And if you have an illness or you're recovering from something, please do come and see Pete and me as well to speed up your recovery process. All right, so don't put that off, because you are experiencing life in every way through your 6 senses as a human being. And so you want to have the best life that your soul has in store for you. So that means you need to keep your body nice and strong. Okay, and then of course step 5 is connecting to your higher self. I already showed you that. So your higher self can look like this, so it's always still. This is the part of you that is never affected by dramas or calamities. It's called the blueprint for perfect health and happiness. It's the real you, the real self. So, and then the rest of you, like your body and your nervous system and your soul, go like this. So plug into your higher self, for lack of a better word. We'll just call this your higher self. Spend time every day away from everyone, in silence, away, just go offline for 20 minutes a day. And you learn to plug into your true self again, and that really fills your cup, right? And then you can share with other people. I can help you to do that if you feel like, wow, there's always interference. I can't get to that point because there's something in the way. Many times that's what people experience and they feel stuck. So just do come and see me as well, because you don't need to stay stuck. All right, and then of course, knowing what your purpose is in life. That's a really, really big one. Not many people probably ever get to that point where they truly know, I'm living my life on purpose, right? But actually that's in store for every one of us, and that's our birthright. So here is what you're going to do. You need to get a piece of paper and a pen. And I want you to write down all the things that you don't want, right? All the things that are not working for you in this moment of time. And you put it on, say, the left side of your paper. So, and then on the right side next to it, you write down what you want instead. Because most people absolutely cannot think of what they want. They really can't, because it's almost like we're not able to do that anymore. Like, so on one side, so the easy shortcut is you write down what you don't want, maybe some things you hate about your life, where you feel the most stuck, and you get very, very specific. And then you write down on the other side, what do I want instead? And that really gets your higher self engaged in the process of life. So maybe you discover something that you haven't given yourself permission to think about. That's as simple as it is, right? So for instance, you might say, I want to be my ideal weight. That's an easy one. And or I don't like being fat and I'm fit. You can say that. And then you put what I want instead. I want to be fit and healthy. Or you could say, I actually don't like living in a 3-bedroom house in a suburb, or whatever. You can have to make it, I don't like my kitchen, I don't like the color of my car. Just make it very, very specific. I don't like the pain in my big toe. As long as you write next to it, what do I want instead? And that's when you start to get a lot of clarity. And then you can make a list of all the things that you want. Now here's the thing, once you know what you want, you can get very specific and you find 2 big ones that are going to make a big difference to your life. And you ask the universe. And so many people don't ask the universe anything, right? But the universe is your best friend. It's actually here to support you in every way. You can call the universe the bank of benevolence. So it's just like a little child that's asking mommy or daddy for an apple or football or a hot drink or a toy. Little kids ask parents all day long, and then the parents are happy to give most of the things to the child, and that builds a circuit of connection, a happy circuit between the parent and the child, of trust and fulfillment. The child feels nurtured. Somewhere along the line we made it very, very complicated, but the bottom line is we are still a child of the universe. And so you can even say to the universe, oh, I realize my happiness thermostat is only stuck at a 3. I want to be happy. I want to be sitting at a 5 or a 6. You can just ask it modestly. Can you show me some ways to do it, right? So that can be how you talk to the universe. If you have a sick child, you can ask the universe to send the solution or to send help. And you can always ask the universe for support. You can ask the universe to help you feel that support, because sometimes we're so numbed out we don't feel supported anymore. You can ask the universe to show up and have your back. The universe is a big, generous place, right? And this is the best way to connect with it. And you don't have to wait to be worthy before you ask, because a little child isn't going to wait till its alignment with an apple tree before it asks for an apple. It just goes, I'm hungry, can I have that apple, right? And that's all that's expected from you. But lots of people, what I see in my clients, they come to me, they haven't heard of the word receiving, and receiving is a big part of happiness, right? Because if you're always giving and not receiving, it gets very, very painful. It gets you run dry, right? Your joy runs out. It's impossible to be happy, and that's definitely not the life that your soul had in store for you. So basically, I had a few other things, but basically that's a lot. I will put the article in here. Let me know what you think. I'm also so interested to see, if you listen to me, where you are at. What do you think your happiness ceiling is? What is your happiness thermostat, right? And if it's less than 5, if it's 5 or less, I'm going to encourage you to do all these steps that I'm showing you so that you can gradually bring up and tweak it. And gentle steps is always the best for your nervous system. The nervous system doesn't like quantum leaps, right? I mean, you're capable of miracles and quantum leaps, but the reality is it's kinder to you to just do little steps every day and just know what you notice, how you react and respond. The last thing that I wanted to say that I forgot, this is really important. I just want to show you a little example. So people think that worrying, like worrying about your kids, there's a saying, like as a mom, you can only be as happy as your unhappiest child and all the rest. You've probably heard that, or worrying about your business. If you don't have kids, you can be worrying about your mom or your dad or a relative, a friend, the politics, the economy, the state of the world. Something has been put into us when we were young that made us believe that worrying is a good thing, right? That it's a noble thing, that it shows that you're caring and all the rest. But I'm here to tell you that it's not a good thing, okay? You can care and drop the worry. Because, for instance, if I worry about my kids, and I have a lot of kids and grandkids, and they're all going through various things all the time, because like all together, when the whole family is together, there's like 26 of us with my grandchildren and in-laws. So there's always something going on in the family. Like there's always a mini crisis here or a little spot fire somewhere else, right? And I had to teach myself to stop worrying, because it was just massively draining my energy, and it's a bottomless pit, and my children didn't like it either. So when I worry about my kids, I set them up for failure, and I set myself up for failure. So instead of worrying about other things that I have no control over, you just pull that attention back to you, stay in your lane, somebody calls it. Just stay in your lane and focus on all the things that you can be grateful for, because gratitude can't live in the same space as worrying. So worrying gets you nowhere, okay? And it's the fastest way to drain all your happiness and to drop your thermostat back down to zero, basically. So if you do have a niggling worry, of course, be productive and seek help and look for a real solution, right? I'm not saying ignore it, but I am saying focus on other things. And it almost takes superhuman strength to do it, but just be one of those people that's going to focus on gratitude. I'll just say gratitude because we're living in a world of abundance today, and what you appreciates, right? So if you appreciate yourself, you can appreciate your heart, that it's still beating, you don't even have to think about it, your hair is growing, your nails are growing, your immune system is taking care of you, and so on. Your tummy is digesting your food, your lungs are breathing in air, and then you can go beyond that, right? You can go, well, I have a car, there's a highway, there's a good road here where I live, I have water and plumbing and electricity on tap. And when you think about it, 100 years ago, even the royals didn't have any of this. So we have such a level of abundance now. We can go to the supermarket and there's food from everywhere. I know that there's toxins and stuff, but I'm not talking about it. I'm just talking about how we're living in the lap of luxury today, right? And this is because humanity's wealth consciousness is growing all the time, and the more we boost our wealth consciousness with being grateful and just being aware how lucky we are, that's also going to help people in poor countries, because when the tide rises, all the little boats rise up as well. They rise, it can't be any different. So it's our role today here in our place, where we are in a place of abundance, to grow our happiness levels and our wealth consciousness, and then our body will also get stronger and better. And we have like closer connections as well. So happy people generally also do better in relationships, because ultimately every relationship is just a reflection of how you treat yourself. Anyway, I thank you for tuning in again this week. This was a long spiel. I feel very passionate about it though, because it's just helped me so much, especially this year. I really have been applying all these steps and boosting my happiness levels, independent for my children or family or business or anything around me. And it's really, I feel so much better in my body again. So I want that for you too. So just, take some time to read what I've just said, because it's easier to read, and just take time to write down where you are at in your happiness, what your thermostat is saying. I'm so curious to know what's going on for you in your life. And then I'm really looking forward to working with you one time if you haven't worked with me yet, and being with you soon. Have an awesome week, everyone. Big love from me.